Welcome back to this channel. As said before, in today's video we are going to be learning how we can build a game for our PC and also for Android phones. So as you can see over here, I have my scene, and I also happen to have two versions of Unity. One is 2018 and one 2019, and I can explain this in a bit, or let me just do this now anyway. The reason why I'm opening two versions is because this we're going to be building for Android. This we're going to be building for Android, and this we're going to be building for our PC. So there is actually a problem with the recent versions of Unity regarding making Android games. Like, I tried to build Android games, but it just kept having an error. Let's go into the build settings. Add some file build settings. So for the Android, if it should appear something like this, open download page. So when I downloaded the page anyway, the page came on all right, but you can see this build and run is not actually working, and there is an issue there. The problem with this is that it's not because the Java version on your PC, although you need to keep updating that, but I had that up to date, and still it was not what that was not the problem at all. Let's go into edit. Let's check my preferences. So inside the preferences, you can see over here, install recommended version. This JDK installed with Unity. This is the recommended version, but the problem is this Android SDK and this Android NDK. And if you go into Google's website for Android to check for this, they would tell you to download their ID, which is a pretty big file, and I didn't want to do that because that's a whole new IDE entirely. But then when I downloaded the lower versions, I could see that they had space for build. Inside the build settings now, you can see under the Android there is this build and run, and all I had to do was just download the open page for download for this 2018, and it worked perfectly. So I don't really know if now this issue has been resolved, but as of this moment of me doing this video, what you need to know is if you are making an Android game, it's best you stick with the lower version. So this it's a project which I worked on probably a couple of months ago. You can see it still works. It's just a space game of you shooting and trying to get the best. If you're interested in it, of course, you can check out Getja App Store. The name is Space Chaos. Maybe you can learn a thing or two from the game. So looking at the game right now, you can see all you have to do is control the spacecraft, and then you fire bullets at your enemies and try to destroy them. You can see that the kills are here and the best is over here, so I wouldn't be dwelling on the entire project. So I won't be talking about the entire project today anyway. But back here in my recent version, all I had to do is create a cube and make it a prefab, and then I created this for script. Inside this script is nothing big. I just created a public game object for my cube, named it cube, a vector tree for my position, which I'm going to be using to instantiate. That's to spawn in my game object inside Unity. And if I should play this game, You can see that all I have is a button, a UI button, which when I click, it makes as many cubes as possible, and they keep falling down because each cube has a rigid body. You can see down here they have a rigid body and this for script attached to it. Under my canvas, all I did was create the button. Under the button, I gave it a function which is fall. Inside the fall, it is the spawn function, and then the text is called cube maker. So I colored the button red. Nothing much there. So let's go into file, build settings now. This is what we're going to be focusing on in this video. For my PC, if I should go to build settings, my player settings, you can see that this is what you need to look at. Your company name, so you put the company name, the product name, that's the name of your game. The version, this can be your icon, so you need to design an icon and place it here. The cursor which you want to be using, if you don't like this computer cursor, you can design yours and attach it here. My advice, use a PNG, and this is for PC. You can see it's not the Android. There is also icon which you can use for the game, different sizes of course, for different folders. The resolution, you can set this to full screen window, and all these which we're not going to be messing with. Just it's best you leave it as the default. Other settings, and this is it. So this Mac App Store option, if you are exporting the PC game for the Mac App Store, you have to fill this in, optimize it. So let's not talk about this right now. Everything is okay. I find that if you just change these two names, when you build the game, it's okay with the PC. So there is really not much problem when you're building for PC. But coming down to the Android game, I build settings. So for my Android game, same thing. If I should go into the player settings. So for my Android game, you can see that this is the player settings by default. Your company name, same thing. Product name is Space Survivor, but it's Space Chaos on the App Store. You put your icon, and you can select your resolution, whether you want this to be landscape or portrait. Splash image, you can set that up if you want, or you can just code yours. So these other settings is what I want to mainly even talk about, because this has given me a lot of problem in the past. So over here you can see this package name. You have to name it this way, your company name dot the name of the product. If not, you're going to have a problem when building this game. The version should be there, the version number and the minimum API level. These are not the major issues, but this identification package name, you have to name it this way, or else you just get a headache trying to build your own game. Aside that, all the default settings are okay unless you want to change something, which I don't recommend. So with this being said, this all you need to do is set these basic things up and you can go ahead and build your game. Of course, I'm not going to build it because I already have the app, but I can guarantee you that once you do all this, the app will work just fine on your Android phone. Of course, you don't forget to load your scenes or to put your levels over here in the scene build, and back into our PC game. So since this is not such a huge file, we can go ahead and build this and see what it looks like. So once this is done, we can go ahead and open it. Click this. So we've built our game, and you can see our cube down here, or our cube maker, and our game is working. So this is all I needed to show you, and this would be the same thing for the Android when you send the Android application to an actual Android phone. So with this being said, I think that's all for today's video. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in my next video.